So we are speaking about eating for fertility over the holidays, and I have with us a registered dietitian. So first, let me put her name here. This is Liat Golan. You can follow her on Instagram with Be Well Nutrition. So let me put her name there. Wow, we've got Russia too. This is great. So let's first establish what is a registered dietitian? Like, why are you even qualified to be here with us today?
Wonderful question. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm happy to see you. Yay.
Yay. So a registered dietitian is someone who's, in my opinion, is very passionate about nutrition, is
Mm.
very passionate about caring and helping people understand nutrition, follow a good diet, eat healthy, and feel their best. So this is where I'm coming from. That's my approach.
It sounds so simple, but in this day and age, people are not eating well and they are not feeling their best.
Absolutely. That's where we're coming then for to the rescue. So,
Yeah, yes, to the rescue. I wish I could put a cape on you right now because it's true. So, one of the things that you do help with as well, like I know you help with many things, weight loss, hypertension, diabetes, but also balancing hormones, right?
correct. Yes.
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 So, ladies, if any of you are here with health conditions that are indicative of hormone imbalance, you got weight gain, you got too much hair, your periods are irregular, you can't get pregnant for some reason, these could be things that could be resolved with nutrition, right? So
Absolutely.
somebody is saying yes, and supplementation as well, right? So
Yes.
I want to hear from you ladies here as we get started. Do you feel like you know how to eat for hormonal balance and fertility? Do you feel like you have this under control, like you know what to eat to improve your health? Or are you getting a little bit desperate about it? Somebody here says she can't get pregnant. Okay. And, when we talk about inability to get pregnant, we also have the men involved as well. So
Correct.
we don't like to leave the women feeling like it's all because of you. But so the answer to the question is no, not really. No, I do not. No, these ladies do not feel like they have a handle on what it even means to eat for fertility and hormonal health.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. But somebody says yes, but it's hard to stick to. Somebody else, they're getting desperate. Okay, so that sets the groundwork. We don't even know where we're starting.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, go
mhm.
ahead.
No, I want, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I think that nutrition truly impacts fertility. Nutrition impacts everything.
Hmm.
All our organs or our cells, all the functions in the body rely on nutrients. And when we say nutrients, what are we actually referring to? So we
Hmm.
have two major groups. So we have the macronutrients, the big molecules or the big substances that we have to have from our diet. We have to get it from our diet, and those will include proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And
Hmm.
under this umbrella, under carbohydrates, we also include fiber. So those are the major nutrients that we all have to have. We all have to get from external use, like food.
Okay.
And then we have the micro, which are the smaller nutrients we have to have, or we have to get them in a very small amounts to create a big impact in the body. Those will include vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytonutrients. These are all extremely important and they're major as well because we cannot produce them in the body. We have to get them from food.
Mm-hmm.
And if we eat the wrong type of food, if we eat processed food, for example, we
Mm-hmm.
don't get those nutrients. So we'll become deficient. What
Right.
happens when we become deficient is that the body does not have enough of those raw materials. Those are the raw materials that the body used to build, to create, to heal. And the functions that those natural functions, healthy functions, cannot happen at their optimal level. So
Mm-hmm.
the one example is fertility. We
Right.
need nutrients, we need all of those, we need that machine, which is the body, to work properly, and all the parts of the machine, which are the organs, to work properly in order to perform better results.
Okay. So let me ask you this. When it comes to nutrition, what are, like, when you are working with women and they come to you specifically with hormonal imbalances, um, what are some of the things you do to determine what they need to do to improve their diet? Like, do you take blood work? Like, what kind of measurements and things are you using to help them start?
So when a person comes to see us, so the first thing that we do before we even test them, we have them complete a long questionnaire
Mm-hmm.
assessment so we can learn everything that we can possibly about them, not just their physical condition, but also their lifestyle. What do
Right.
they like to eat? How do they like to spend their days? If they have a lot of events, if they have to travel a lot, if they have family members that don't like to eat healthy. So all
Mm.
these questions, we look at their stress level, which is major, and everyone here, I'm sure, know about stress and
Yeah.
cortisol and all those hormones that can affect any or every organ in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So we do a very thorough assessment. We learn everything we can about them, and then we recommend the correct tools or the correct testing. Some of them will need hormone tests. So we do refer them to a physician. Sometimes we write a script or recommendations, what they should be asking from their doctor or gynecologist,
Mm.
or if their services obviously covered by insurance. So most of those tests will be covered by insurance. Some of them won't. It only depends on their insurance.
Now, you said something that kind of caught my attention. What they should be asking their gynecologist.
Good question. So
Mm.
I would say thyroid is major. Thyroid is a gland that I'm sure a lot of you have heard of thyroid. And basically what it is a gland that is responsible for many, many functions, including temperature, managing stress, including uh, the gut, how the gut is functioning. Every cell in the body, every organ in the body is relying on thyroid function. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people were hearing about thyroid in relationship to weight loss. If their
Mm-hmm.
thyroid is slow, they cannot lose weight, or they feel tired all the time, or they're cold all the time, or they have hair loss, or they have all kinds of different symptoms of fatigue and depression or anxiety.
Mm.
So it's all related to the thyroid. It's a major, major gland that is responsible for many, many biological functions in the body. So the first one I will ask for and recommend to do is a complete thyroid panel, which will
Mm.
include TSH, T4, T3, reverse T3. Those are very, very important to test.
So basically, you send them in with the knowledge of the nomenclature so the doctor just doesn't brush them off and not give
Exactly.
them.
Exactly. I
Mm.
arm them with all the information they need. So when they go to the doctor, they know what to ask for. And obviously, many times I've seen that doctors in general will say, well, I don't think we should do that. The insurance will never cover for it, will never pay for it. So that could be a challenge.
Mm.
But at the same time, if the doctor is willing to work with them and provide those testing, they can code it properly. They use those insurance coded. This is what it's all about.
Wow. And that's unfortunate. That's really
Yes,
okay.
it is unfortunate. But one of the major one I would also recommend to do is insulin.
Mm-hmm.
Insulin, and not only for female who have polycystic ovarian syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
but insulin is a hormone that balances and regulates sugar, blood glucose.
Mm-hmm.
And we know how blood glucose has a lot to do and almost everything to do with eating and appetite and energy and sleep and even stress. So
Yeah.
insulin is really, really important. Basically, I will explain what it is so people know what it is.
Yeah.
It's a hormone that the body produces as a response to eating sugar, carbohydrates, starches. So sugar will be a candy, for example.
Mm.
Carbohydrates will be a pasta or bread. Starches will be potato starch or even potatoes
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
corn. So that's what we use. The body produces it in order to regulate blood glucose.
Okay. And so we need to be asking for those kind of tests. Okay.
Yes.
So that's helpful to know. So now let's say these ladies, like, they're not necessarily running off to the doctor right now. They got some fertility goals and whatnot in mind. Over the holiday season, as they're preparing food, what are some good tips? For example, like cooking with oils, right? Like there's
Hmm.
some that are really good, some that they don't have high smoke points and they turn toxic and things
True.
like, can we start giving some cooking tips, that would actually be more helpful for their hormonal health? I mean, even somebody said, can you eat to improve egg quality?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And as I mentioned before, the body as a whole, it's a big system that, and every part of it has to sync with the other part. So if we think of what to eat for fertility, we're thinking about egg quality. We're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about in general the health of the women of the female. In order for it to conceive, we have to make sure that everything is, all those hormones are balanced and aligned.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the oil, to the first question. So there are oils that can become rancid, or they can become, I would say, they can burn in a very high
Mm,
temperature. So olive oil, we all know that olive oil is excellent for us if it's extra virgin cold pressed.
mm,
However, it has a very low smoke point, which means that if you're trying to saute your food in olive oil, the olive oil can heat into, to a very high temperature, and then it can burn. And
oh,
when it burns, it can create all those chemicals or substances that can basically be harmful.
mm,
So
okay.
if you're trying to saute something or use a high temperature cooking, I would say avocado oil is very
Mm-hmm.
safe. Or you can use coconut oil if you like coconut.
Mm-hmm.
Or even butter. I know that a lot of people hate butter, think that butter is bad and it's unhealthy. If you get the grass-fed butter, first of all, it tastes better,
Yeah.
but it's not as terrible for you. You can use butter. Butter is
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah, so let's talk about the good fats and how these pertain to hormones, because these oils that we're talking about are good fats, right? And
Right.
ladies, if you have questions along the way, feel free to pop them in here. Like, I can see
Well, yeah, I
everything
see ghee. Someone was asking about ghee.
with
Ghee is
ghee and
excellent
sunflower
choice.
oil. Hmm.
Yes, ghee is an excellent choice because ghee is basically a clarified butter. It's a butter that was cooked and was separated. All the lactose and the proteins were separated or removed from the fat, and the fat stands alone, and it's basically just fat. And it's healthy. It's very, very safe and high temperature.
Yeah.
I use olive oil. Dressing, yes, I would definitely use olive oil for dressing, but make sure that it's extra virgin cold pressed olive oil.
Okay.
It's excellent for drizzling it on your salad.
And something else I've learned about olive oils, my fiance works in supplement manufacturing, so he knows about ingredients. If you look at a bottle and if it's a single country of origin, you also want that.
Correct. Good point. Very good
Yeah.
point. You want a
Yeah.
single, yes, single country of origin. You want the olive oil to come from one source and one source only, not
Yeah.
multiple places,
You
countries, because
you'll
then
see
it's
it on the
bland.
bottle. It'll be like Greece, Spain, Morocco. No, you want it to
Yes.
be like Italy.
Exactly. Yeah. Or just Spain or just Greece, not all of them together. Very good point.
Yeah,
Very good point. Another point, when we talk about olive oil, have you probably noticed that a lot of the containers are plastic containers, and not only that they're plastic containers, but they're all also light containers. So
that's another.
you definitely want to choose the dark container because
Hmm.
olive oil is very sensitive to heat and light. So if you buy, let's say, a translucent container, the heat and the light go through it and it can oxidize. So you lose the quality of the oil.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Now, I wonder about that too with coconut oil, because I get the big jug, the organic, virgin, whatever coconut oil from Costco, but you go to Sprouts or whatever, and they have the smaller ones in glass.
Okay. I would say that there is not a huge difference between those two,
Mm-hmm.
because as long as the coconut oil is cold pressed and extra virgin and nothing was added to it, is not a blend of different, different oils,
Mm-hmm.
it should be perfectly okay.
Okay, that's great news.
Yeah,
And then,
you can still use it.
and what is the correlation between fats, whether it's oil or eating avocados or salmon or things like that? What's a correlation between fats, hormones, egg quality, all the things?
Great question. So fats, hormones are produced. Remember, we're going back to the basic, we're going back to the raw materials.
Mm-hmm.
So the raw materials for the production of hormones is fat. So if we don't have enough fat and good quality fat, we're not going to be able to produce enough hormones.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but we have the nervous system, and we have a lot of the brain cells that are heavily relying on fats.
Mm.
So we have to make sure that we are getting enough fat in the diet and the right type of fats.
Okay.
If you're thinking, I know someone was asking about sunflower oil. Sunflower oil is one of the oils that is a little bit not the safest, because a lot of times it's processed, it's heavily processed, and
Okay.
it's genetically modified.
Mm.
So I would not recommend to use sunflower oil. I would not recommend to use soybean oil, and I absolutely will not recommend to use vegetable oil.
Oh yeah, that one's questionable. What about sesame oil?
Again, sesame oil is fairly stable in high temperature. I would use the extra virgin sesame oil, and when you cook with it, don't cook it at all. Don't use very high heat. Just
Mm.
a medium low heat.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. Now I want to make sure that I'm not missing any questions here. If you
Hmm.
guys have questions about how to eat for your fertility and health or whatever conditions, or you have questions about certain foods, like this is a heavy yam season, you know,
Hmm.
and I know there's all the
Hmm.
talk about eating yams for hormones and blah, blah,
Right.
blah. But there's various types of yams and things like that. Do you have any recommendations? Like if you're going to make some baked sweet potatoes or yams or something, what do we want? What do we not want?
Yes, so we have the sweet potato and we have the yam. The only difference between those two is the amount of fiber and the density of them. So I would say they're both wonderful. They both have fiber, and they're both better than eating just regular white potato.
Okay.
I would say that the beta carotene, the vitamin A, are very beneficial if you're trying to get pregnant, or very beneficial for our health in general, for the
Mm-hmm.
hormones, for the egg quality. So we want to make sure we get them, and don't use a ton of sugar, because you really don't need the sugar. I know the traditional dish with sweet potato is sweet potato casserole with mash with the marshmallow and brown
Yeah.
sugar.
Yes.
Really unnecessary. I know it's sweet. It's more than a dessert.
It's a
I
candy
would
at that point.
It's a candy, absolutely. I would just say, cut them, cube them, and drizzle olive oil. Once you bake them or roast them, all the sweetness come out, and it's so sweet. It's very sweet.
I want to just chime in right here. I've realized that coconut oil in sweet potatoes go very well, or yams baked to get that coconutty
Yes,
flavor with
yes.
cinnamon.
It's
Try it.
amazing. Yeah, I
Try
agree.
it.
It's super good. So that could be a great dessert. Going back to the holidays, this is something that one of the swaps or changes that you want to implement is, instead of relying on the pies, and instead of relying on the heavy, high carbohydrates, or heavy calorie food, I would say a sweet potato with some cinnamon and coconut oil could be a dessert. It is
Mm.
really, you should give it a try. Or instead of having the apple pie, just bake the apple, put some cinnamon, coconut oil, and maybe maple syrup and pecans, and it's
Ooh,
it's amazing.
that sounds delicious. Wait, baked apple?
Yes,
Coconut.
so you bake the apple, you drizzle some coconut oil, you add pecans and cinnamon and a tiny bit of maple syrup. You bake it in the oven, 350 degrees for 20-25 minutes, and you have apple pie.
Listen, I want to encourage you guys, by the way, on this point, you need to get on her mailing list. Like, go to, so I pinned her name here so you can find her on Instagram. Her business is Be Well Nutrition. If you can get on her newsletter, she's always sending out recipes. Like every few days, there's an email coming through with like fantastic recipes.
Mhm.
As well, you have a program, right? Like Eating for Fertility Nutrition program.
Yes, it's a very simple online program with 3 or 4 weeks worth of recipes, grocery list. It's easy to follow. It's super, I mean, tons of examples, tons of recipes. So
Yes.
it's really, really, really good.
If you guys want to check out her fertility nutrition program, I put the link to it in my link tree, in my bio, as they say. So all you do is if you go to my page, I always like to show you people what does that mean, link in bio. So it goes to link to recommendations, and then in there you will see, oops, it's that one. It's the second one, fertility nutrition. Oh, or you can go shopping in my Amazon store. Do both. Anyway, there's a fertility nutrition program. If you just want to learn a little bit more about how to eat, and it's also interesting because I've been in there, like eating for the various phases of your cycle, like what to eat in luteal phase, what to eat when you're actually on your period, what to eat in the. I just went blank on my menstrual phases, but but she breaks it down, so it's worth checking out. Um, what are your thoughts about having matcha on a regular basis? Any downsides? Is it a good substitute for coffee? Ooh, coffee substitutes over the holidays because Starbucks is
Yeah,
coming at
well,
us with pumpkin.
exactly. I mean, again, I have on my website, I have a wonderful pumpkin latte recipe. It is amazing. So if you want to drink a little bit of coffee with flavor without the sugar like you get at Starbucks and all those fake syrups, you should make your own. It's super easy and it's really good. So matcha is basically a green tea. It's very concentrated. And if you get the correct one, if you get the high quality one, you can benefit from it because it does have a lot of antioxidants and it has caffeine. It can be a great replacement for coffee. Um, some people you have a reaction, it can upset their stomach. Some people are nauseous. So you just try a
Mm,
little bit. You try with 1 teaspoon and see if it works for you and you can tolerate it well. But I don't see any problem having it, especially if it's a replacement for coffee.
okay, good. Somebody else said, okay, I have hyperthyroidism currently on the lowest dose of medication. Can this still cause issues with getting pregnant?
So if you are followed by a doctor and they regularly check your thyroid and there are no issues, if it's within the normal range and they tested the right biomarkers, which I've mentioned before, the T3, T4, reverse T3. Reverse T3 is very important, and I know a lot of times
Mm.
they don't check it.
Well, what is it? What's reverse
It's
T3?
so the thyroid gland produces about 70 to 75% T4 and 20% T3.
Okay,
The body has to be able to convert most of the T4 into T3. And
okay,
then we have the other form of T3, which is called reverse T3. Is that it does the exact opposite of what the T3 does.
okay.
So the reverse T3 is usually the bad ones. If you have too much of it, it can slow down your metabolism, it can affect the other hormones, it can lower your temperature, and many other issues. So it's very important to check it.
Mm,
Yes, there is a correlation between infertility to slow thyroid function. I'm not saying everyone has it. So everybody's is, we're all individual and we have our own circumstances. So what I would suggest to do is to just to make sure if the TSH and the T4, T3, reverse T3 is within normal range,
okay.
just to
And
rule out the correlation.
so, so she's saying that she has it, and she's kind of curious, like, could she still get pregnant despite?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
there we go. I die, I'm like, ladies, as long as you're dropping eggs, there's always a chance you're ovulating. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously, we want to help any underlying health conditions, but I think that that's also an important thing. Um,
Yes.
so Raji wants to know any foods you recommend when you're watching your sugar levels. I'm trying to keep fasting sugar low. Okay. I don't know what
Great
that means.
question.
Okay.
Well, fasting sugar. So when you don't eat anything, your blood sugar, you're basically you're fasting, and the fasting blood sugar is what is measured at that time.
Okay. Okay.
So, for example, at nighttime, you're not eating anything, you're not drinking anything, you're sleeping. So that's the fasting blood sugar. When you wake up, it's supposed to be between 85 to maybe 95, just about that. If it goes higher than that, when you're fasting, that could be an issue. So what to eat in order to balance and keep, that was a question, to
Yeah.
lower fasting blood glucose.
She just said
So
she's trying to keep it low. Yeah.
yeah, so the best thing to do, especially when it has to do with blood sugar, is to keep it nice and steady throughout the day. So you want to avoid those high peaks. For example, if you eat food that is high in sugar, candy, processed foods, pasta, bagel, those can spike blood sugar level. So if
Hmm.
you eat that and you don't balance it with, let's say, fat, fiber, protein, it can spike your blood sugar not only after the meal, but also later on when you're fasting.
Mm.
So one of the best thing to do is, we don't have, I know we're taught by a lot of I would say the food industry mainly, and maybe some of the medical industry too, to eat 6 meals a day, to
Mm.
eat all the time. That's not always true. If you want to keep your blood sugar nice and steady, what you're eating is more important than how much and how often you're eating.
Okay.
So if you're eating food that can sustain your blood sugar and your blood sugar does not spike after you eat it, you can control fasting blood glucose, and just in general, the whole day or the whole graph is going to look better. So
Okay.
I'll give you some examples. If you eat a piece of, let's say you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is you eat a banana, right? Banana consider a higher, we call it glycemic index, which
Hmm.
means is how fast your blood glucose rises or goes up after you eat food. So if you eat a banana just by itself and you haven't had anything to drink, nothing with it, it can spike your blood sugar.
Mm.
But if you eat the banana with, let's say, a handful of Brazil nuts, or a handful of cashews, or a handful of pistachios, or any nuts, or even
Hmm.
almond butter or peanut butter, you can slow down the digestion or how fast your blood glucose rises or goes up
Mm.
after you eat that banana.
That's
Even
interesting.
better, if you start your day with protein and good fats, for example,
Hmm.
eggs. Eggs are fantastic source of protein. They're amazing for you. They're really good for you.
Okay.
And some avocado, which will be your fat, a healthy fat, and maybe a piece of sweet potato, baked sweet potato. That will be an ultimate breakfast. When you eat that, you can be controlling your blood sugar, not just after the meal, but throughout the whole day.
I have to tell you, I've noticed that if I eat steak and eggs for breakfast and maybe some avocado, like the fat helps filling, I'm good for hours. Like that is the
Yes.
best start. Steak and eggs, or like I said, eggs and avocados. Like I do notice like my ability to go through the day. Cottage cheese is another one
Mm-hmm.
that I do well with cottage cheese, nuts,
Yeah.
just kind of sharing ladies, like, because I tend to run some pretty good energy for myself. So what she's saying makes sense. So let's look at like, okay, what kind, when you are taking on your women patients, what do you see women are most deficient in? And what are the foods that maybe we need to be more incorporating?
Good question. So deficiency in general for women would be B12,
Mm.
B12 is very, it's a big one. I do see that they are deficient in vitamin D, is
Mm-hmm.
another big one. I also see folic acid deficiency. So B vitamins in general, because one of the things that can affect B vitamins, which will be the B12, the folic acid, B1, B2, is stress.
Mm-hmm.
Stress is major. It's basically the body of the adrenal glands are overusing those they're burning B vitamins when we're stressed.
Okay.
B vitamins and also vitamin C. But I do see those deficiency because we test them. We have to
Mm-hmm.
test them. You have to test the vitamin B, the folic acid, zinc is another one, magnesium is another one. I mean, it's very common to see those deficiencies. So the food that I would recommend are the food that are nutrient dense. And what is a nutrient dense food?
Mm-hmm.
Nutrient dense food is food that contains the highest amount of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals in one bite.
Okay.
So if you take broccoli, for example, broccoli has a lot of nutrients in one bite.
Okay.
But if you take, let's say, a piece of a bagel, doesn't have any nutrients, no vitamins, no minerals, and in fact, it has those starches that can spike your blood sugar level, which will cause you to be hungry very soon after
Mm-hmm.
eating it.
Yeah. Staying away from office bagels. So, um, good. So, sources of the B vitamins. First of all, how does B vitamin deficiency manifest itself, in a person, woman or man? And then what are some foods we're looking at to supplement? I should say
So,
not foods to supplement, but foods to get those nutrients. Yeah.
yes, 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 yes. So I always like to start with the food first, and then if the deficiency is really something that we need to address with the supplements, then the supplements will come next. With fertility, every woman who's trying to get pregnant, I would say we have to make sure that the B vitamins, the ones that I've just listed, the
Yeah.
zinc, magnesium, all B vitamins, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin D. Those are majorly important.
Okay.
Um, so different vitamins deficiencies will have different symptoms.
Mm.
So take, for example, we'll take vitamin B12. If a person is vitamin B12 deficient, they can have tingling in their hands and feet, which can
Mm.
mimic neuropathy.
Apathy. Yeah.
They can have fatigue, real deep fatigue. They can be super exhausted from the moment they wake up.
Oh, wow.
Um, yes, they can have GI problems, digestive problems. They don't absorb certain food and they have more gas and more difficulty when digesting a meal,
Mm. All from B12.
all from B12.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, and those are just those are the symptoms that you can actually experience. Some of
Hmm.
them are you can even see, which are the white blood cells, red blood cells, those are internal.
Right.
Magnesium is another one. When a person is deficient in magnesium, they will be more fatigued. They will be more tired. Their muscles will be more fatigued.
Hmm.
Some people will have cramps. Some people will have eye twitching.
I've had that. I've had that magnet, the eye
Hmm.
twitch.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, it's a serious thing. And then some people will have the constipation.
Right.
Because remember, even the digestive system it's a whole long tube and it's surrounded by nerves, it's surrounded by muscles. And if we have the magnesium deficiency, the muscle cannot contract properly. So that can also
Mm.
cause this whole, they call it peristaltic movement, which is how the digestive system moves to move stool or produce stools and remove them, remove waste from the body.
Right. Mm. Yeah, I'm a big fan of magnesium. It handles so many things for me. I'm like, where's the magnesium? So, what are some food sources of magnesium and also B vitamins?
So magnesium will be any green leafy vegetables, basically any vegetable, especially if it's leafy vegetables. Those are major source of, it's a good source of magnesium. The other big group or good source of magnesium will be nuts and seeds. Pumpkin
Mm-hmm.
seeds, for example, will be a great source. Pistachios is a great source of magnesium. Sunflower seeds, all those seeds and nuts are fantastic source of magnesium.
Okay.
B12, the best source of B12 will be red meat. And when
Okay.
I do recommend red meat, I will also emphasize the fact that they want to get grass fed. I know it's not an abundant and it's very, very expensive, much more expensive, but you want to think of quality versus quantity.
Yeah.
So you want to have a higher quality meat, eat smaller amount, but you're still getting most of your nutrients from it.
Very good. And then someone is asking a good question. I take magnesium but still have bad feet cramps.
Good question, because it depends on the type of magnesium. Because we have, I would say, I would at least 5 different types of magnesium. And magnesium dioxide is the one that you don't want to take because it has a bad effect on your digestive system, and
Yeah.
it doesn't really absorb very well into your blood system. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say magnesium glycinate, change it to magnesium glycinate or magnesium chelate. So those are the two for cramps.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
try
Oh,
those.
let's see what happens. Okay. Somebody is asking, I'm taking prenatal pills daily. Does that help with the vitamins and nutrients?
Well, what I can say about vitamins and nutrients, they're not created the same.
Right.
So if you're taking it and you feel that it's helping you, the best thing to do is to read the ingredient list to see what is in there. If you have food dyes and food coloring and you read ingredients that you cannot pronounce, it's probably not the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Another very important point is the B vitamins. B vitamins, especially B12, folic acid, and B6, have to be what's called methylated.
Mm-hmm.
Methylated
Yeah.
means,
So I was
yeah,
going to ask you about that because you're using the word folic acid, and I have a concept that folic acid is one thing and methylfolate is something else. So let's,
correct.
yeah.
You're right. So,
Okay.
folic acid versus methylfolate. Methylfolate is the readily available form of folic acid that the body can actually utilize, can use,
Right.
and get benefit from. We do see a lot of supplements that have just the folate and they don't
Mm-hmm.
have the methylated folate. And it's very, very important because we find with a lot with testing these days that many people don't have the enzyme or the ability to methylate, which means that they take, let's say they go to the store, they buy supplements, they take the supplement, but the body doesn't know what to do with it because it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't methylate it, it doesn't break it down. So the methylated form of those supplements is already the form that the body can utilize, can break
Right.
down, can use. They're called bioavailable.
Right.
So if you
Good.
want to test, if you want to know if your vitamins are good, you want to check the label and you want to make sure that instead of folate, you have 5-MTHFR.
Mm-hmm.
That's the methylated folate. Or instead of cyanocobalamin,
Right.
CY, you have methylcobalamin.
Methylfolate. Mm-hmm.
So that's how
Yes.
you test and you know if the vitamins are good or not.
Okay.
That's one of the things. Yeah,
Now, but I do think too, it's important to note that I don't know that you can just simply prenatal yourself into nutritional well-being, right? Like,
true.
and also just like your gut health, like is your body even absorbing those nutrients and things? So
Correct.
let's talk a little bit about gut health as well, because it all goes out the window if your gut doesn't take anything in.
Very, very true. Yeah, so gut health is it's also a very, very major um, components when we talk about women's health and fertility, because remember, everything you eat, the first site that the food goes to is the stomach, your digestive system. And
Mm-hmm.
from there, the body needs to figure out what to do with this food, right? So if your digestive system is not is not optimal if you're not breaking down the food and assimilating the food and absorbing the food because your gut is inflamed. And what
Mm,
is inflamed? I'm sure you've heard of IBS, and I'm sure a lot of people maybe even have it. So
mm,
IBS is a general description of irritable bowel syndrome. Oh,
right.
what is it? It's when you have excess mucus
Mm,
inside your digestive system, which prevents you from breaking down food, absorbing nutrients,
mm.
um, eliminating waste, or creating
Ew.
stools. I
What
know, doesn't
causes
sound
that?
good. Well, what causes that is, it's food. And I from what I see, why am I saying food is the first factor? Is because when I see patients coming in and they have major IBS or digestive system problems, we remove some of the inflammatory foods, which will be number one. Guess what? What will be the number one inflammatory food?
Something processed. I don't know. Sugar?
Sugar is number one, correct?
Okay,
But sugar is in every single thing, correct?
you're right.
So processed food, but
Glu
gluten.
gluten. Hmm.
That's the issue with gluten. Gluten is very inflammatory. So if we remove the gluten or remove some, for some people, soy is, it can be inflammatory. Not all people, but some people soy, especially when it's processed soy, like the one that you find in protein bars or in shakes and powders, and a lot of the processed candies and processed food has soy in it,
Hmm.
and it's majorly GMO, genetically modified.
Yeah. So just
So
like,
remove the sugar, remove the inflammatory foods, then the person gets better. Then they don't have those GI issues. Then they absorb their food better. We test before and we test after. We see that their vitamins are absorbed and they can tolerate food better.
wow. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I was like, oh, the mucus in the stomach is like no good. So what are some of our known inflammatory foods? As we're going into the holiday, what do we want to minimize, and maybe what are some substitutes? I don't know. What are we gonna do?
Okay. Well, don't panic. We can still eat good food. If you just keep following the principle of no processed foods, it's just going to be so much easier. So if you think of the holidays, right? We're thinking of Thanksgiving is coming up next.
Yeah.
So Thanksgiving meal, what do we normally eat in Thanksgiving meal? We have the turkey, which is absolutely great. It's absolutely healthy for us. All parts of the turkey, even the skin,
Mm.
that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Then we have the green beans, which again, if it's not a green bean casserole with all those toppings of, on top of
The
it,
fried onions. Oh,
the
come on,
fried
man. The onion
onions,
crisp.
again, you can have a little bit of that. It's not a big deal. But your major, I would say 70-80% of your meal should be protein, good, clean protein, good, clean vegetables. Then again, instead of having the sweet potato casserole with the marshmallow and the sugar, have some baked sweet potato and put some cinnamon on it. And like we mentioned before with the coconut, it makes it sweeter.
Yeah.
Not to say that you cannot have the pie or cannot have anything or the mashed potato, no. So the principle that I always recommend to use is not just for fertility, not just for women, but every person who's trying to enjoy their holiday meal or in trying to enjoy any event that they're going to, and there is food that they want to enjoy and can get tempted by. I
Yeah.
would say, I would say at least 45 to 50% of your plate should be vegetables. So you can
Okay.
have roasted vegetables, you can have salads, you can have the green beans, you can have any type of vegetable. So 50% of the food is vegetable. Then 25% is your protein. So in
Okay.
this case, if we're talking about Thanksgiving meal and the holidays, it's either the ham or the turkey. Excellent. Then the rest, the other 25%, should be everything else. So if you want to try the mashed potato or the mac and cheese or anything that is a no-no,
Hmm.
you can still eat it. Now,
Oh,
another point is the order of which you should choose your meals or eat your plate. So,
okay.
number one would be your vegetable. Number two will be a protein. And then by the time you get to number three, you will not eat as much.
That's a good tip. So let's break it down. Vegetable,
Vegetable,
mm-hmm,
protein, and
and
everything
then
else.
everything else. Now, why is that?
Good. So when you eat your vegetable first, the vegetable have fiber,
Mm-hmm.
and fiber can slow down digestion, which means that it creates like a mash consistency in your digestive system that everything you eat afterwards will slow down, which means if it slows down, if your digestion slows down, your blood sugar will be much more stable. You will stay fuller longer. You won't have the spike. Because imagine, think about it. People that are sitting down for a holiday table at a holiday tables, what's the first thing that they eat? The bread,
Everything
right?
all mixed together. I'm like, well, how about
Ex- yeah, but no, but most people will choose to eat the starch first,
mm-hmm.
right? It's just in our nature. We're reaching for the starch first. So
Yeah,
if you change that order, you can get so much more out of your meal. And again, those vegetables have not only the fiber that can slow down digestion, but they also have all those nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, and if you have them on an empty stomach, you can absorb them better.
that's interesting. I've never heard that before. Well, that's the most helpful thing. I have to have some discipline on my eating sequence here because I'm like, oh, I want some green beans, oh, some yams, and some macaroni on one. But okay,
Yeah.
now we have a hydration question here. How much
Mhm.
water do you recommend for fertility? Some pages I came across mention at least 4 liters. Is that too much?
No, it's not too much. I would say I
Speaking of,
usually recommend to drink based on your body, on your weight. So basically, if you are 160 pounds, you should be drinking half of it in water. So 80 ounces of water. If you're
okay.
200 pounds, you want to try to reach to 100 ounces of water a day. And hydration is very important. It's really,
Yeah.
really important. If you're not hydrating, everything can be, if you can be tired, you can have more cramps, you can be exhausted, and all those major functions in the body, internal functions cannot work properly.
Mm-hmm. So, and I've heard this too about drinking water that there is a part of like drinking so much that then you just pee it out and all your nutrients come out. What are your thoughts about like electrolytes and things like that?
Yes. So if you're drinking too much, basically what you're doing, you're diluting your electrolytes. You're drinking too much, you're peeing too much, and then when you're peeing those electrolytes. And electrolytes will be the magnesium, the potassium, the chloride, and other elements. So if you're drinking the right amount of water, and that also includes, let's say, herbal tea
Mm-hmm.
or sparkling water, not just plain water or water with lemon, if you're hydrating well enough, you also want to think of, let's say, if you're sweating a lot or using up you're going to you exercising or you're in a warm weather and you sweat a lot, you want to make sure that you're getting enough electrolytes as well. So
Okay.
you can get electrolytes from supplements, some vegetables and some fruits. For example, watermelon is great for hydration. Cucumber is great for hydration. You
Mm-hmm.
can make a cucumber watermelon smoothie,
Hmm.
slushy.
Are those, are we in season? I think watermelons just went out. How do we feel about these seedless watermelons and cucumbers that seem to always be in season?
Yeah, again, I mean, fruits and vegetables are best if they're in season
Yeah,
and we eat them in season. And if you see a watermelon that is growing in the winter time, it's not what nature intended for us to eat.
right. And somebody says, okay, so what about having water with electrolytes in it?
Fantastic. Absolutely. Yeah. Just again, make sure that the electrolytes read your label. That's one of the biggest advice that I can give you. You always want to read your label. You want to stay away from any ingredients that you cannot pronounce that look weird.
Mm-hmm.
And the number one ingredients, I know that is sweet. additive to sweeten your food or sweeten your beverages is sucralose.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good idea. I would stay away from sucralose.
Mm.
It can disrupt the secretion of insulin and the whole blood sugar activity.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is actually a good point because now there's all these sweeteners, the stevia. So we have sugar, and we have raw sugar. Is raw sugar even any better than regular sugar?
I would
Is
say
that in
no.
marketing?
That's just marketing. Brown sugar is not better than white sugar. They're all the same. Raw sugar, if depends how it's processed, it might be a little better, but sugar, bottom line, that is sugar is sugar. No
Hmm.
matter, no matter where it's coming from. Again, stevia is great, monk fruit is great. Those are the two that I would recommend to use.
Okay. What about erythritol? Is that how you say it?
A lot of the erythritol, yeah, or
Erythritol.
xylitol. A lot of people have sensitivity to it. What it does, it can cause gas, bloating, sometimes diarrhea.
Mm,
So I'm not a big fan of erythritol. A lot of people have a reaction to it, like I said. Um, Allulose is another one, is a new one.
mm-hmm.
It's more natural, so that could be something I would recommend.
Okay. Okay, good. Now I want to make sure I'm not missing any questions here. Do you guys have any questions for her just about how you're preparing your food? We answered that one already. What are some good food options for the holiday? Um, I know one of the things that you and we've talked about before as far as like female health, fertility is omega,
Hmm.
like those vitamins, omega 3s and things like that. Why are those important and where can we get those from?
So omega-3 fatty acid in general is something that is anti-inflammatory. The main role of it is it prevents inflammation.
Mm,
So if I'm thinking of fertility, if the body is less inflamed, the responses, the cells, your cells responses to your own hormones is much more efficient.
mm-hmm.
So so the body is responding well to those hormones, which means better hormonal balance.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So omega-3 is important for fertility. It's important to create, it provides the raw material again for the egg to be more fertile. It creates the better environment for it.
Okay. So what are some foods we want to have in our diet for omega
So
3?
great sources. I'm not sure if anybody is eating sardines, but sardines will be the best choice,
Mm.
in my opinion. I mean, at least in my practice, I know that at least 80% of the people don't like
And we're not
uh,
showing up to Thanksgiving meals with sardines.
with
Nobody's gonna
sardines.
be.
Yes, yes. But in
Mhm.
general, salmon, salmon can be a wonderful source of omega-3 fatty acid. You can add some flaxseed. Flaxseed are a good source of omega-3 fatty acid. They can be added to pies. They can be added to any baking, anything that you bake, apple pie, or
Mhm.
I mentioned this apple crisp that you can make.
Yeah.
Baking the apple, just sprinkle a little bit of the flaxseed on top, ground flaxseed, to get
Mm.
some more of this omega-3 fatty acid. Almonds have some omega-3 fatty acid. In general, walnuts are a great source of omega-3 fatty acid.
Now, I learned something from you too about shopping for these nuts that I want to point out is watching that they're not roasted in seed oils.
Correct. Good point. Yes. So the best almond or the best nuts to eat will be raw. When
Yeah.
they're raw, you get the most out of it. You get the good fats. You don't get the bad fat that are added to it.
Because it's
Mm,
kind of like what you're saying. You're like the omega 3s help bring down the inflammation, but then if it's roasted in seed oil, which is inflammatory, then
yes,
I'm on the right
that's
track there.
exactly what I'm saying. You're right. Yeah, you got it
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so raw.
yeah, so raw nuts it is when you're shopping for your nuts. So
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to make sure that I also give you an opportunity again for those who have just popped in that you do have a program, Eating for Fertility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or It's a nutrition program. It's self-guided. If you guys want to check it out, I've put it in my link tree. And so my link tree is on my page. So you just go where it says link tree. Doo, doo, doo. Yeah. How about that? Oh,
Mm.
and then links to recommendations, okay? And then you'll find here, come on, cookies. Nobody cares about the cookies. Fertility nutrition program. If you want to check it out, you can find out a little bit more about it and start to educate yourself on what does it mean to eat for fertility and through the various phases of your cycle each month, because your body requires different nutrients and different vitamins depending on where you are in, your series of activities between and during your period. So if you want to start getting smarter about that, I do recommend that you check out our program. It's very intuitive, grocery shopping list, lots of recipes. Anything I'm missing or not saying about it?
Yeah, you're right. It's basically through those phases, what to eat for each phase to optimize this phase. So, for example, if I recommend magnesium or omega-3 fatty acids or B vitamins for week number one will have all those recipes that are already put together for you that will include those nutrients that I recommend for each phase.
She makes it
So
easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it easy. You don't have to think much. Just follow the recipe and you get exactly what you need for each phase of your cycle.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So you guys can go to my link tree, find a new fertility nutrition program, check it out, see if you're interested, and just start finding out for yourself what you need to eat. And on that, somebody's asking, I've been on and off, and also wanted to ask about liver supplements, if this is also recommended.
Hmm. Yeah, if you're pregnant, I would take it more carefully. But if you're not, I would say milk thistle is a very good one. It helps the liver do its better job. It cleanses the liver. Also, NAC or N-acetylcysteine is another great one for the liver.
NAC,
Um,
like N, because I think we all have some of that. So it's like capital N dash A dash C.
no, it's N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, C as in Caroline.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. NAC.
so
I got it.
NAC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
Okay.
stands for N-acetylcysteine, and what it does, it helps the body produce something that's called glutathione. And glutathione is done or made by the liver to produce a lot of, or helps the liver producing antioxidants and cleanse, and the whole cleansing process.
Hmm.
But the really supplements are great. I would say if you want to help your liver, the number one thing that you want to do is to eat properly. And what do I mean by eating properly? Is reducing any or removing any processed foods, especially
Hmm.
processed carbohydrates, juices or sodas or anything that has artificial ingredients. Those will accumulate. The liver is the biggest filter in the body. So if you eat a lot of this processed food, the liver has to cleanse them. So if it's overwhelmed because you're eating like that for many years, it's going to take some time for it to do its job.
Hmm. Okay. Well, that's important to know, and it's cool to know about that supplement. Now, I have my own question. These sparkling waters are all the rave now,
Hmm.
but I don't know if they're actually okay or not. It's better than soda, I'm assuming, because it's not got no sugar in it and stuff. But
Right.
how do we really feel about these?
Yeah, those are better than soda for sure. Again, going back to the ingredient list, if you see sucralose, if you see a long list of ingredients, it's probably not the best. You can take your sparkling water, just plain sparkling water, soda water, and add some electrolytes to them and
Mm.
enjoy the taste, the flavor of the different electrolytes too.
Yeah. Well, that's what the ones that I mean. They're like a soda water, but they're essence with some flavor or something, right? So they're not what are these like LaCroix and all these brands you see them at Costco and stuff. So not even the ones with sugar. But I just didn't know if there was any kind of like inflammatory or acid, something being caused by drinking this bubbly water.
Yeah. I would say if you drink one a day, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're drinking one a day, and again, always read the ingredient list. If it's such a long list of ingredients, it's probably not good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. That's what I'm about. One a day because it made me pee a lot. So we're just about at the end of our hour. So I just want to give you guys one more chance. If you have any questions for her, just about eating for fertility, taking certain supplements. Like, I know we have a lot of IV drips and whatnot going on out
Mm-hmm.
there. If you have any questions about these, now is your chance. You have like another 60 seconds here or so before I free her to go be with her family and me with mine. Carla Vanessa is thanking us for the info. You're absolutely welcome. Again, if you just want to get on her mailing list, I pinned her website here. Is there, I guess, if they go to your website, can they just pop
Yeah,
in, a little pop
yeah,
up comes up? The reason why I say that is because she's always sending out recipes. Like, there's always a recipe of something interesting. So, minimally, I suggest you get on her mailing list. But if you want specifically eating for fertility and hormone health, she does have a fertility nutrition program. I have put that in my link tree in my bio. I forgot to mention, for 48 hours, it's half price. For 48 hours, it's only $97. So if you guys want to hop in there now is the time. Then she's going to change the price back up. But she made this just for my people. You guys are my people. I can't believe I forgot to mention that there's a price drop. Um, Somebody said, join late. Can I save this live? Yes, yes, of course I will. Okay. We have a couple of last minute questions in here. So, one, are there any supplements you recommend if you have endometriosis?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would check again, checking your vitamin D level and making sure that when you get it back, the test back, you want to make sure that it's between 60 to 80 on your test for vitamin D. B12 is extremely important for endometriosis, and berberine is very
Mm.
important. Berberine can help with insulin resistance.
Okay, so this is what I need to tell you guys about berberine because I've been taking it and I'm not promoting it right now, but I lost weight. Like my pre my post pregnancy body is smaller than my pre pregnancy body. And it wasn't until I started taking berberine. And I think it's because of the insulin, handling my
Right.
resistance to insulin that I didn't know was there. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, those last 10 pounds that you can never seem to lose, shredded with that supplement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a great sign. It's anti-inflammatory too.
yeah, it's a good one. Um, do you recommend Myers Cocktail IV pre and during pregnancy?
I would say pre definitely yes. During pregnancy, you'll have to consult with the doctor because it's sometimes people have a reaction to it.
Yeah, I personally love a good Myers cocktail, and you get all your B vitamins in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, Now somebody says, "Oh, can you spell that?" You're talking about the berberine? Yes, I will spell it. All right. So my friend says, "You sounds like you're saying bird brain when you say it." Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I just spelled it out right there. Berberin.
Yes.
That's it. Also, if you look in my link tree in my bio, you'll see I have in there a supplement guide. Like I list all these supplements I like to take, and it's in there. It's in there. It's just a download. I swear by it because I was like, I couldn't believe how much my body changed after I started taking that supplement. And I do. It was the only thing that I changed that all of a sudden, just
It
every week I
works.
was losing like a half a pound, and next thing you know, I'm at my ideal weight. So I'm going to just guide you guys back to a few things. Can I get to my profile, please? Okay, good. So if you go to my link tree in my bio, you're going to see a few things. Links to recommendations. So there's her fertility nutrition program. And then under that, you see me holding supplements, my favorite supplements. If you open that, I have a whole like PDF, and berberine is one of the supplements. How many milligrams of berberine per day? It says it on the bottle. If you
At
just
least
do what's,
500.
yeah, yeah. So there you go. Can cyclical ovarian cysts be treated with supplements? Now they want to come with the good questions. Now that we're saying bye.
Yes. It can be. It can be. Again, in order to finalize your protocol, which will be more individual, we have to create something for you. So assessing your conditions, looking at your lab work, seeing exactly what needs to be addressed, because those condition, it's not just this is the symptom. It's not the actual problem. It's the symptom. So we have to see what is causing, what is the root cause of this.
Yeah. Well, so the good news is the answer is yes. Which ones and how much and how many and when? Well, you got to get assessed. But
Right.
hopefully, Carla, no one is telling you that you can't handle it that way. So anyway,
Yes.
we are over our time here, and I always respect the time of my practitioner. So instead, if you want to connect with her, I did pin her website there. All the recipes in your inbox you ever want to have. She's got the fertility nutrition program, which is in my bio. I'm also going to put a promo for it in my stories when we hang up here. So if you guys just want to do that, that's great. My supplement guide is in my bio. Everything you need and want for success here. Thank you so much for coming and being with us and giving ladies insight. Sometimes the smallest pieces of information can make the biggest change.
Absolutely.
Good. You ladies have a good evening.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you.